Boom.
Hello, everybody.
There we go.
Oh,
Good
okay.
morning, guys. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
Good
you
morning,
start with whatever you
everybody.
have to start with.
Thanks for jumping on today's spotlight session. Today we have Champion Exteriors, which is a really great, not only just a roofing company, but exterior company. They can definitely do a lot of things. They come top rated and they have some really, really great services that I think clients would really, really enjoy and really, get value from using. So I'll let them take it away. I don't want to give too much information out, and you guys, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Lawrence.
Thank you.
So my name is Rob. I'm the Champion Exteriors. This is Katie. She's our office manager. I'm the sales manager. We have a couple different things we want to talk to you guys about. One of the things, just to start off, a little bit about Champion. We've been around since 1936. We're four-generation family run. Great grandpa started the company as Seashore Roofing down in Wildwood, and handed off to his son, who handed off to dad. Dad became Seashore Home Builders. They build those mansions on the beach down in Cape May, Stone Harbor, Avalon, a lot of the areas there. And then son took over a while back and became a little bit more versatile and wanted to make sure he serviced the entire state of New Jersey and also incorporate more than just roofing. We are a growing company. We have two locations. We're trying to open up a third north of here. So we are in the villas down in Cape May, and then we're also here in Hainesport, as well as trying to get up in North Jersey, possibly places like Westfield. This way, it'll help us service the entire state much easier. We have a couple different things to show you today. I also wanted to kind of start. Katie is a current real estate broker who kind of jumped on with us. I'm going to let her give you a quick little, because I feel like there's a lot relatable with the agents to her being in real estate, and I think she can kind of touch on why having a relationship with a company like us can kind of benefit you.
Good morning, everyone. It's exciting to be here. Gain insight by coming as a Champion Exteriors. So it's not easy being a real estate agent. I am a broker currently, and I actually gained a lot of information to be able to have leverage in my transactions. So, inspections are the most exciting part of a transaction. So you do get a lot of twists and turns, and I did have a base knowledge, of course. We all seem to, but when you have more knowledge of things, especially like items such as the roof, HVAC system, furnace, things like that, the more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to help your clients kind of navigate the whole situation and kind of guide them and hold their hand. So with that, with my experience throughout the inspections, I knew a lot more, right? So with siding, roofing, windows, doors, I ask questions, I dive in. The more questions I ask now, the more information I will get, and I'm better equipped with my transactions. So such as definitely asking like, hey, if you don't mind me asking, do you have an idea of how old your windows are? Or when's the last time your roof was replaced? Okay. Did you put a layer of shingles on, or did you replace the plywood underneath? What kind of shingles do you have? How old are your gutters? What kind of material is your siding? Vinyl, it's good to know the lifespan of those things too, because this will better equip for negotiating after that inspection. And I feel like most people have experienced, some buyers who just thinks they know everything, and it's not easy to navigate. So it's good to have knowledge and also guide your clients in the best way possible. Also, another thing that was really cool, a lot of clients like to see that if you have a connection, let's say I call Rob and they have a question about the roof, I'll always say, I'm not sure, but I'll find out. I just won't throw anything at a wall and let it stick. I'll make sure that they feel reassured. So I can call him and be like, hey, do you have a minute? Can you answer this question real quick for us? We just want some clarity so that we know how to navigate this transaction in the best way possible. So it's really good to have a relationship with those kind of companies, exterior company, roofing, HVAC, fence company, painter, anything like that. So if you can get them on the phone real quick and get answers immediately, people seem to really like that. Like, oh, they're getting fast results because we live in a world where fast, fast, fast. So it's really helpful. And the more you know, the better equipped you are to guide your client the best way possible, right? Because that's our fiduciary duty is to the client. So I've had a great experience. And I can easily pick up the phone with inspector, roofing company, HVAC system company, and clients really seem to gravitate towards that and like that. They feel comfortable that, hey, you can get me information right away and I'm not waiting a week or two. So it's good to have somebody like that in your back pocket. And so you gain more connections as well. And you're not kind of scurrying like, oh my God, I don't know that answer, but I have somebody that can help you. Do you have a minute? Let me put them on the phone so you could feel comfortable, right? They want to make sure that they're taken care of with white glove service. So that's a little bit about my experience. And then Rob's going to go over some things with you that would be really helpful and help you gain knowledge also in the process.
Okay. Thanks, Katie. So one of the first things I will say, just to give everybody a little bit of an overview of some more benefits to working with us, and like Katie said, being able to pick up the phone and call somebody to get immediate answers is always a benefit whenever you guys are dealing with customers. The first thing I'll mention too is we actually have a referral program within Champion. So if you were to pick up the phone and call me, set up an appointment with a customer, like, hey, this person, they know they're buying a house and they're going to need a roof. They're wanting to look for a quality company with good warranties. And I referred you. What would happen is either myself or somebody else, one of the other project advisors with Champion, would go out, meet with the customer, basically show them our entire, like what Champion's all about, how we're going to put on the roof if they were to go with us. And any of those deals that close, we have a $400 gift card that goes to that real estate agent. So a lot of agencies down in South Jersey take full advantage of that, and I think it's something that's very beneficial because it's another way of for you guys to kind of just go out and make money. If you're looking to be able to refer somebody, and the greatest part about us is we're not just roofing. You can do any exterior project, and even if it's something where you're like, I'm not really sure if they do it, just you can pick up the phone and call me. And I'll let you know. I'm not gonna, lie to anybody or anything like that. I'll just let you know, hey, we do that, or we'll pass, but thank you. And all that stuff is good. And I'm more than willing to pick up the phone anytime to answer any questions I can. And even if I didn't know the answer right away, I could probably get within a couple steps of this office and find one of the guys that's worked in construction for 40 plus years. We have about 3 of them on staff at all times. So. Yeah, anything you guys need, we could definitely do that for you. Lawrence didn't want to keep you waiting on this, but the first thing I wanted to show you, and like I said, this might have been a little easier in person, but because I could have passed these out. But what this is our overhead care club, and basically what this is, we have a club that people can sign up for, and what it does is it gives them that peace of mind where we can do a yearly inspection. So if we put their roof on, we can keep up the maintenance that they need throughout the life of the roof. It allows that roof to make sure that it lasts however long the materials say it's supposed to last. It also helps, God forbid, anything were to be installed incorrectly, something blew off a caption or something like that, we can kind of take a look at that and be repairing it for free for the customer for the life of the roof. It also gives the customer free gutter clean once every year, and all they do is call, say, hey, I'm an overhead care club member, I'm just calling for my yearly gutter cleaning. And again, it's another time to check the roof, make sure everything's okay, and give people that peace of mind. Some of the other things are if they ever were to need a repair. So say they signed up for OCC and they never even did anything with us, like they never replaced the roof or siding, they run into a problem a couple years later. Because we have a repair service, we have service techs here. They could call and say, hey, I had siding blow off. Any repair that they need at that point, they get 10% off. They also get priority guaranteed appointments. So whenever they call, if they're an overhead care club member, we are out there within 24 hours. We will move other appointments to make sure that they get pushed to the front of the line. The other really good perk to it is any repair we make is actually a lifetime warranty. So most repairs you can't warranty them because 99 times out of 100, when you go to repair something, it was another contractor who did the work. And when you're looking at it, you're like, I'm putting a Band-Aid on for you. I can't make this right with a repair. You'd have to replace it. So it's hard to warranty those unless you want to go out of business. But yeah, this all comes at the affordable price of $14.95 a month. The other really cool thing is you guys would be able to be advocates for this if you were to mention this, and then when the customer brings it up to us, it's almost like that you become the liaison for the Overhead Care Club itself. If you were promoting it, and then we go and explain the rest to the customer, it's something that's it's easy. And like I said, it becomes not a replacement referral fee, but we could definitely work out something with a finder's fee. Like our guys who bring this to a customer, if they were to sign somebody up, they get the first $15 in their paycheck. Seems like not a lot, but there's people who can sell about 10 of these a week. So an extra $150 in your pocket is not that bad. So yeah, that's the Overhead Care Club. I will definitely, if anybody has any questions later on, I'll leave it toward the end for anybody to ask. So if you want to write a note down, you could just kind of put that question in your back pocket, and I'll be more than happy to answer anything you have. I'll just try to move quickly along here. This might be hard. Let me see if you can see. You want to hold this? Okay, they can kind of see it there.
Wait, you could tilt the laptop.
Yeah.
There we go.
So what I'll do is just briefly go over some roofing terms with you. We actually use this in the house. So when we're going over with customers exactly what's going to happen to their roof, most people in this day and age, they are visual learners. They don't want to just have somebody go and talk to them and say, we're going to do this, that, the other. And then half of the time, depending on the contractor, they might not be doing that, or there might be something that changes, or they're hoping that you're not home on installation day. We don't do anything like that. We make sure that if the customer can be home, they definitely are. And what I'll show you is we tell every customer we're going to take off all of the shingles. This could be a question you guys run into as well. Does this contractor re-roof, which means if you left shingles on and then just put another layer of shingles over top. That is a old school mentality that is not very good. If you think about 20-year-old shingles that are damp, heavy, and full of algae and stuff, and then you just put another layer of asphalt over top, the mold and other things that can grow under there, plus adding double the weight onto the roof that's not supposed to hold that weight, can be very, very bad for the house. So we always tear off, and what we do is we go through and we inspect all of the sheathing, which is the plywood or decking on the roof. And then the first thing we do is the first thing we're going to do, this might not be every contractor. There's a lot of contractors that will put right on the decking. They'll put what this is. I don't know if any of you have kids. I have a daughter. She's in pre-K. This is like construction paper. They call it felt paper. Easily can just rip. If this gets damp, it just becomes like a wet blanket on the plywood. Not very good for the life of your roof. I keep this as just an example as to we don't use it. For whatever reason, GAF still, they make it, but we absolutely do not use that. The first thing what we're going to do is this is going to be what you call leak barrier or ice and water shield. And that's going to go in all valleys, which is where two slopes come together in an inward plane, I should say this way. And then we put it along all the eaves of the roof like this. And what this does, if you ever seen the end of a roof in the wintertime, something happens called ice damming, where you'll see like all of that freezing happen at the end of the roof. And as the snow up here melts in the wintertime, it has nowhere to go because it gets stuck on the ice, so it runs backward. This ice and water shield is a waterproof adhered system. So this goes directly on the plywood. And this is going to protect the plywood from getting wet. Because at the end of the day, shingles, they're not waterproof. They're water resistant. You can't submerge them in water. Eventually, water will get through. So you need to have the accessories under the shingles to properly protect the roof. There's that felt paper I talked about. We do not use. What we use is something called a synthetic underlayment. So this is nice and light. It's actually breathable. It can let water vapor or heat release. All the while being waterproof going in. Once the underlayment covers the entire roof, then we shingle the roof. The main shingle we use is a Timberline HDZ. As you can see here, this is a what they call an architectural shingle. I don't know if you guys know the difference between a 3-tab and an architectural shingle, but these are much, much better. All of the 3-tabs, we usually are replacing in a one-call scenario for the customer because they're usually having a lot of damage in the house because they just seem to leak. Very thin shingles that are just, they're not really quality anymore. They're a thing of the past. So once everything is shingled, the last thing we're going to do is make sure we cut a ridge vent for ventilation. So the ridge is going to be the peak of the roof. And what we do is we put a breathable material. You can see through it. That goes right over top of the ridge and folds over, and it runs the whole length of the ridge. And we finish that off. Obviously, we can't let water get in. We finish that off with a cap shingle. These are TimberTech's big time GAF cap shingles, and they go right over the top of the peak like that, and then they stack each other along. This is the proper way to do a roof. And a lot of contractors, like I said, they kind of cut corners and don't do things the right way, which is why you see a lot of companies rise and close very quickly. And as long as you're producing quality, at the end of the day, the people who utilize our referral system, they're very happy with our work, and so are the customers. So they get a lot of good feedback, because the worst thing a realtor could do is suggest somebody because they're very cheap or something like that, and then the entire roof after 1 year of moving in, it's showering into the house. So very important to keep in mind. Take that. I apologize, I'm moving through a little bit quick. I talk fast. If you do have to stop me, feel free to do it, or you can always keep the questions for the end. Let's see. So the next thing I want to quickly show you is going to be, this is our straightforward price guide. If you remember, I told you we have a service department with service techs that actually go out. And what they basically are doing are, anybody who calls for a repair, they're going to go out and inspect the area and also inspect the entire house for anything else. And what we have is like a menu style price guide. So this way customers know nobody can be tampering with price or anything like that. This is for asphalt shingle repair. Okay. And basically, if you just take an example here, depending on the level of repair, this would be a very small repair that he could probably do on site. This might be one we have to reschedule and come back for. But if you look at, for example, let's see, 3A is going to be, replace shingles up to 2 bundles, right? So if they have a large spot that blew off, we have that sitting right here. They see the price, but then if they're an Overhead Care Club member, they get 10% off. So they can see the prices right there. It's easy for them. And, sometimes, not sometimes, most of the time, our techs are trained to give people options. We don't want to just funnel them and say, all right, do the highest repair, do it right now. We're going to pressure you. We give them like, hey, you have to do at least this, but, you should probably do here because that's going to be the best. And you could, if you really wanted to do it, you could do that too. So, the option's yours. I'll tell you what the benefits are to each one. And our service techs will sit with them and make sure it's something that they are comfortable doing. We have low slope roofing repairs, metal repairs. A lot of people are into metal roofs now. We also have tile roofs. You don't see that probably as much in northern Jersey, but there's still a lot of tile places on the shore down near us. And then we also have siding and gutter repairs with everything set in stone right there. Skylights. This is how our project advisors get pricing on skylights and what type of skylight. You can have a chimney makeover. We have things as low as critter caps all the way up to fabricating and installing a seamless steel chimney cap. So the high end, if somebody wants their chimney to look excellent at the end, gutters and repairs. So we have all that right in here, and it's a lot. It's very comfortable for the homeowner to be able to see something like that, because it's almost, like I said, it's like a menu at a restaurant. Last thing I'll kind of go through is going to be, our guys are equipped with siding samples. So what we'll do is we'll bring these into the home. So this is actually a upside down Main Street siding. This is a vinyl clapboard. All right. And we'll bring things like this. Sometimes they're booklets that open and they give multiple colors. multiple styles. This is actually a clapboard. If you've ever seen the vinyl siding where it kind of jets out a little bit and then becomes very flat, that's called Dutch lap siding. Sometimes, I think in your position, it's very good to be able to know the terminology when it comes to exterior. So this way you can kind of talk with the homeowner as they're going. If they ask, what's that? You can kind of verse yourself with different terminology, and it could definitely make you look, like you may be an exterior person yourself. And then finally, we're a James Hardie certified installer. So if anybody's ever heard of James Hardie, this is going to be the fiber cement siding. Very, very durable. This is a big, big hit for us down at the shore. This is usually accompanied by like AZAC trim, which is the PVC. This is highly touted. Katie's also in our marketing department. She likes to do the ASMR.
The ASMR, it works. It works. You just got to hear the fiber cement.
Yeah, so it's definitely a high quality material, and we are really the only contractor south of Trenton who James Hardie continually calls to install it, because not everybody can do this type of work. It's very, very hard to put up, and it's very hard to warranty because it's not as easy as just putting up vinyl siding. So this is definitely more top of the line stuff, but we are certified contractors and certified installers. So if anybody ever has questions about this, every once in a while you will definitely run into customers who are looking to put this on, and it's good to know somebody who could speak about it kind of on the fly. I mean, without putting everybody to sleep, which I'm sure is already happening, this reminds me, I taught through the pandemic, so I used to do a lot of Zoom calls before as a teacher, and then I kind of jumped into this business. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have for anybody. There's obviously a lot more. If you wanted to take my number down, you could have my personal cell phone number. I'll answer at any time. Unless I'm putting the kids to bed at night, they're usually running around like crazy people around 8 p.m. But other than that, I'll answer anytime. You can call me anytime for questions. You can take Katie's cell phone as well. Katie's extremely knowledgeable when it comes to real estate, obviously being, having a broker's license and everything. She's taught me a ton about real estate. So if you guys have any questions, we'd be more than happy to answer anything that you guys have.
Yeah, this was great, Rob. Like great job, great explanation on everything. Great going through the services and your packages and all that, things like that. If you guys could put your information in the chat for us,
Yep.
just your phone numbers and stuff, and then I'm gonna get some more information from you guys, and then I'll send it out to everyone in the office. This way they, know what your services are, know the website, and about the OCC club, which I really like. I'm actually now wish I was a homeowner so I can be part of the club.
You got to join the club.
Yeah, I got to join the club. So, does anyone have any questions?
Yes, I have. So when we are taking a client for viewing a property, and how can I assess it's time to change the roof? Sometimes it looks okay, but it is not okay. How can you assess?
So one of the best ways is to get an actual roofing contractor to come over. What you could do is you could suggest to them if you wanted to use us, but you could suggest to them using an inspection. We do that. Like if somebody calls in and says, "Hey, can you do a roof inspection for me?" Or if you wanted to call us and say, "Hey, I have a client. I'm kind of taking care of everything for them. They're going to be buying a house. They want it inspected. They want to maybe counter the inspector." We do things like that. That's a small fee in our service department, and we can have a service guy come out, and we actually have, I don't have it on me, but we have actually, let me just double check. I have some of the other paperwork here, but we do have no, that's not it. We do have an inspection sheet that we can fill out and, give our, what we see on the roof, like, hey, the shingle life looks to maybe have a couple years left, and that's it. Sometimes you could say, we're absolutely requesting a roof replacement. This roof is in bad shape, and here's why, and attach it with pictures and things like that.
Okay. And sometimes shingles are bad, but the top covering is good. And how we can make out that the shingles are bad? It will show some
Uh,
stains inside. How is it?
So if you're just looking and you're not going to get up on the roof and be able to feel, one of the things that you could look at in a shingle would be, have you ever like gone by a house and on like a regular asphalt shingle roof and you can see that there's like a shiny, like to the edge of the shingles, it's very shiny. If you've ever seen that, what that is fiberglass showing, because what a shingle is made of is fiberglass with
Mhm.
asphalt and granules on it. So as
Mhm.
the granules and asphalt deteriorate, that fiberglass will start shining and you almost see the shingles outlined with a shine. You know that they're probably pretty worn out at that point. The other one would be staining. If you're seeing like one area that's very dark, another area that's lighter, you know, depending on where that is, algae, moss, things like that, they're all deterioration factors. Doesn't necessarily mean it needs to be replaced. Sometimes you just need a quick inspection, maybe a small repair, something like that. But if you start seeing that shiny outline, it's probably time to start thinking about replacing.
Okay. Thanks for your information.
So if you're from an agent perspective, if you're on a listing appointment and it's the first time meeting that client in person, um, they know you're not a roofing specialist, right? So they see you already as you're just a real estate specialist. So when you start talking about your roof and materials like that, they don't see a contractor. So you kind of have to put yourself in their shoes and what they're looking at, right? So you might have the knowledge, but at the end of the day, they might not believe you because you're not the specialist in that category, right? So a
Mhm.
lot of it is mindset and psychology when it comes to this. What I would do in that situation, I actually just hit it, and a seller of mine is replacing her roof because she needs to before it's going on the market. I would call, it's good to have the relationship, pick up the phone and be like, you know what, I don't have the answer for you. I do have a lot of opinions that I could absolutely walk you through, but I have a specialist who can speak to you and answer any questions that you have. Kind of put that on your specialist connect, right? Because they already are a roofing specialist. They have the name. So people naturally will gravitate towards that, if that makes sense. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like how they perceive you as, keep that in mind. So what I would do is say, um, thank you for, showing me your roof. Make sure you always go in the attic when you're on a listing appointment, take a look at the plywood and things like that. Tell them your opinion, but then also be like, you know what, I would love to elaborate further and also give you peace of mind that you deserve. Do you mind if I step away and call my roofing specialist? Or if you want on your own time, I would be happy to connect you so you can have a conversation or have someone come out just to give you some peace of mind on this topic. Is that something you'd be interested in?
Okay.
So kind of the psychology about that from an agent standpoint, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure. One more question, like how do you guys work with the home insurance? Like if the insurance is covering roof, uh, how you guys work with the insurance part?
So at all costs we try to steer clear of insurance. We can work with them. We know how to do it, but at the end of the day, in for whatever reason, I mean, insurance is running out. I mean, they're trying to not even cover roofs anymore. I've seen people who have had massive, storm damage and things like that, and these insurance companies are dishing out like $1,500, and their whole roof's destroyed. So I just what I do is I just get right out in front of it, and I just tell the homeowner, listen, the insurance. I know you've probably heard years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, the insurance company covered whole roofs. It doesn't happen anymore. It just doesn't happen. Um, what I tell them is it's unfortunate, but you basically have to look at it. You're going to get a little bit of money toward an upgrade because what you probably had on the roof was that felt paper and shingles. So at least you didn't wait for, it to wear and tear and start leaking into your house. You had something that basically propelled you to have to replace it sooner. And what you'll do is you'll get a little bit of money and it's going to be for an upgrade. You choose the contractor you want to work with. They can't force you to work with somebody just because they're cheap or whatever the case is.
Okay, and one more last question.
Mhm.
Like if the house is around 2,500 square feet, if I have to give approximate cost for the new roof, how I should tell them? No?
I wouldn't give that number ever. I would leave it up to the professional. That's when you call Rob or somebody from Champion and say, I can't give you direct numbers. I have a ballpark figure, but every situation is different. Your roof's situation is different than the next. So I can't give you the number that you're looking for or you might have in mind, but I'd be happy to guide you in the direction and have a conversation with, my trusted roofing specialist, Champion Exteriors. And that's when you would have one of the guys come out. I would never answer that kind of question because the truth is you're not the specialist. So
Yeah.
sometimes it could shoot you in the foot, if that makes
But
sense.
we should have a basic like ballpark number we can give, right? So how much?
Well,
I personally wouldn't. I would try to kind of steer around the bush with that and let the professional deal with that.
right.
But I wouldn't give answers like that. But
Right.
that's
We aren't like to Katie's point, we aren't the professionals. This isn't a thing that you would have just sitting in your back pocket to just know off the top of your head. Hey, your roofing is, this much. We haven't gone to roofing school. So, we don't really know what the numbers are. We don't know what the work is involved. We don't know what the labor is. There's a lot of different factors in that. So we can't just give someone a number. I would definitely suggest calling a specialist that does that and let my client deal with them directly, because you don't want to give someone bad information. Like, you tell someone, oh, that'd be $1,200, they call the roofing company and now it's $5,000. Now you're looking like the person, like, well, you gave me bad information. Now there's a problem between them and the roofing company. They're expecting a difference in price, whatever it is. So you don't want to be that person. You don't want to get in that way. Just stick to your lane. Basically, we're going to stick in real estate. We're going to let them stick to roofing and exteriors, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
The thing to that most realtors who are referring, they usually have the most success by saying, like, if you don't want to worry about a thing and you want to be taken care of from the initial contact to the end of the transaction, Champion Exteriors is a great company. They'll make sure they take care of you. And like I said, if you are maybe a listing agent and somebody's like, I'm just going to put the absolute cheapest roof, we're probably not the company to call. But at the end of the day, it's up to the homeowner or the person who's buying what they eventually want to do. And also on top of that, we have several different packages. So the same roof can be priced out with 4 different numbers based on our package. Plus, you also have the variation of it if they collect estimates from, I don't know, 5 different other companies. All those companies can do, there's some companies that pay guys $10 an hour on the roof. I wouldn't want that on my roof, but that's what they do. Other guys, they pay the labor very well because they want to make sure that the labor upholds, what the company is all about. For us, we have W-2 employees. Anybody else who tells you they have it, they're lying, because every other company subs out their work. They just kind of find the crew on the side of the road. Hey, throw this on, $10 an hour. And we make sure our guys are people that wear Champion shirts. They go to Christmas parties. We know them all by name. And that's what keeps us kind of with that quality job, because our owner can talk directly to them and say, this is how I want it done. It's going to be done right every single time. And if it's not, somebody's got to be held accountable.
right. And the good
Right.
thing is, for again, if you're on a listing appointment and like my scenario I have right now, she's replacing her roof. When you put that on the market, you could say that, yes, it's a brand new roof. You don't have to worry about anything, down to the plywood, Timberline HTZ shingles that don't have moss growing on it because there's a technology in it. Also, it's transferable, the warranty. So if they had anything come up in, I would say probably like 15 to 20 years, because Timberline HTZ is very durable. What was that? I'm sorry. Oh, okay. I couldn't hear you. But it's transferable, so it's a great selling point. It may kind of dim the seller where they're like, crap, I got to put out a lot of money to do this. However, if you sell it properly and advertise it properly, you'll say, however, this is a brand new roof, so we want the value, and your warranty is also transferable. So it's kind of the perspective that you look at it and kind of shine a light on the good things of it, that you don't have to worry about this for another 15, 25 years. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
you can kind of twist that mindset into that. So it helps your seller, and then also at the same time, it gives leverage in the sale.
Yeah.
Rob, what is your favorite style? Like, what do you think is like the most durable roof? Like, what is like the top notch one that would be like, like, this is the one, this is the go-to roof nowadays?
So if you're talking about material,
Mhm.
you would be talking about some sort of, probably like an aluminum standing seam roof. They have lifespans of about 70 years, 70 to 80 years.
The metal roofs?
The metal roofs, yeah. If they're
Oh,
installed
wow.
correctly, yeah.
Yeah.
They get installed a little bit differently than what I showed you on our little flip book.
Mhm.
What you usually have is some sort of like high temp ice and water shield, which is that leak barrier, and it goes below the entire roof surface. And then you have some sort of ISO board or some sort of insulation board that gets put there. So this way, if it's on top of a regular living space, you don't want to every time rain hits it, it's going to be really loud unless you have that insulation board. And then you get custom made panels. We'll get it from Penn Sheet Metal, and they'll make custom panels. They have a bunch of different colors and things like that. Another very, very difficult, you got to be careful who you choose, because everybody says they do roofing, but then they get stuck with a job, just bidding it out, and they actually don't know how to. I see, because I join all these roofing like Facebook groups,
Mhm.
and they just bid these jobs and they have no clue what they're doing. Hey, I just want to bid for a metal roof. Can somebody help me? And like, we're a company that people like will call a company in Massachusetts and they're like, hey, somebody referred me to call you guys. I don't know how to do this. And like, we'll tell them how to do it because we know all different roofing, whether it's cedar shake, if it's metal roofing, asphalt roofing, low slope. So like low slope means a pitch of 0 to 3.
Mhm.
We'll use a roll-on asphalt. It's called GAF Liberty.
Mhm.
And if it's a 0 pitch, we can use something called EPDM. Don't ask me to tell you what it actually stands for. If you look it up, you'd start, you'd leave work because you'd be sick.
Yeah.
If your brokerage does commercial too, we also do commercial and flat roofs. A lot of people, it's very few and far in between. There's not many people that do flat roofs in New Jersey, so we're also the go-to for that as well. If you guys
Okay.
did commercial or anything like that.
We have a question in the chat. How does roof replacement work for a twin/semi-detached house? If one of the houses having damages on the roof and the other is fine, do we do both?
That's an excellent question. So you're talking about some sort of like a duplex type of house?
I would think like a duplex, like a townhome, maybe even that.
Yeah. So they're connected somewhere.
Right, but right.
Yeah. There's a couple different ways you can do it. So we work with a lot of them. Any properties that are going to be attached, number one, that's when permits become a thing. You're going to have to pull a permit for something like that. And there's one of two ways to do it. So we've done townhomes that are connected. And what happens is the only thing separating them are those cap shingles. So you'll see like a line, and like the roof might be flat. Like there might be no need for hip or cap shingles.
Mhm.
But what you do is you take off the cap shingles, you replace the section that you need, you can cut the shingles, and then what you'll do is you'll put new shingles down, match them up to each other, and then you re-put those cap shingles down to have a dividing line. So you could do that, or we've had instances where we just had one recently, Canvas.
Oh yeah.
We had a customer who had a duplex. What they had to do was they called, they had an issue, and they had to go to their next door neighbor, and our project advisor brought both of them together, explained what we can do. He said, yeah, I looked over your side. It's pretty bad too. So they jumped on board, and we ended up doing it like 2 transactions into one. So he was able to do both roofs at the same time.
Also good for your neighbor for resale. Be like,
Yeah.
hey, I just helped you out.
Yeah.
When you sell, call me, but there you go.
That's
Exactly.
true. Another question. What are the pros and cons of a metal roof?
So the pros of metal roofs is they last a long time. They are right now they're in as far as a aesthetically pleasing type of material and the way they look. There's a lot of people putting them on like accent roofs. Like if you had your main roof with a couple different overhangs, they like putting metal on the overhangs. The cons to them are not every company knows how to do it. So it could be installed incorrectly at a higher rate. And then also it is very expensive. So you're looking at 3 to 3.5 times more than an asphalt. If somebody's pricing it correctly, yeah.
So what would be the price for like comparison? Like you said, it's 3 times more, so that would be like a standard size house, right?
Yeah,
What
so
would
if you
be
had like
the
an A-frame
you right?
roof and you wanted to do it in asphalt and just say it came to $10,000,
Hmm.
you're probably looking at like 30 to 35,000 for metal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. But the benefit is it lasts a lot longer and there's less maintenance to do with a metal roof.
Exactly. Yeah. There's virtually no maintenance to do with the metal roof itself. You also have what was I just going to say? I had something. I was thinking of something and now I forgot. You have the other part about the metal roof is if you're going to have any type of. So I talked about an A-frame.
Hmm.
If you had more of a complex roof where you had valleys that were like this, you're creating your own copper valleys that are going to be open. So the metal doesn't go into the valley. The metal stays open and you have that. It almost looks like a scupper or like a gutter lane. So
Right.
your valleys are open. So it's a lot more custom work.
Hmm. That makes sense. Because it
Yeah.
has to be right. You're saying it doesn't like it's not one size fits all kind of situation.
And metal doesn't, you can't really
Yeah,
like,
there's no
you know what I'm saying? So it's got to end in straight paths and then have termination lines and everything like that.
right. Someone says, I heard the metal roof color changes in time.
So does asphalt. They all fade.
Yeah.
One of the things we'll tell customers as well, like they might have a 10-year-old asphalt roof and it was a, I don't know, like a slate color, which is like a darker gray.
Hmm.
That color might almost be looking, it might look black after 10 years. If you were to put slate color next to it, it doesn't even look like the same color shingle. So if you just did like a patch,
Hmm.
it'll kind of stand out like a sore thumb. Same with metal. I mean, metal you can't really patch, but if you looked at a metal roof, took it off, put the same color on after that roof was 40 years old, it's going to look like a different color.
Mm. That
Usually they
makes
fade
sense.
about after a year.
That makes sense. Does
Yeah.
anyone else have some more questions, comments, concerns? Oh, make sure you guys put your information in the chat for us, and then I'll take. Then you guys can send me some information. I'll send it to all my agents. Someone asked, outside cleaning happens all the time. Is there a such thing for a roof?
A roof cleaning, like a roof shampoo.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it is a thing. People shampoo their roofs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, it's not a thing. Yes, it is.
Oh, I've heard of like, people getting their roofs like power washed.
Yeah,
And
they have that technology now. We were actually thinking about getting into it.
Sorry.
It's not a definite yet, but it's one of those things we want to make sure that it's actually something that works before we start just like doing it to people because we don't want to be part of the group that's like, oh, we took their money and that was it. We want to make sure that whatever we do is actually going to help customers.
right. Someone asked, payment plans. Do you guys offer a payment plan?
Excellent question. We offer a variety of different financing options. We use 3 different banks. We have financing options from your base 12.99. That's about the going rate for exterior jobs, all the way down to 0% interest. Obviously, it costs money, so it's always good to know kind of where it's going to all fit in. Certain roofing packages qualify for better financing options, if that makes sense. Like the higher the roofing package, the more we can do. Like we have one deal that's 24 months, no interest, no payment, so they don't have to make any payment for 2 years as long as they pay it off at that 2-year mark. Before that, no interest. They can pay the whole thing off in 2 years in full if they want, or they can make small payments the whole time. There's no prepayment penalty.
Well, also, a lot of people don't even offer financing too. So
Yeah.
that's another leverage point where we can kind of swoop in and help because not everybody has 10 grand they can pull out of their pocket either. So the
Right.
option for financing, and we have tons of specials going on right now. I can even send you our fall specials. There's like 3 that we have, 2.99 for 144 months, 60 months with no interest, 5.99 for 240 months. People like having that kind of cushion where it's like, oh, I could breathe, like I could do a small payment over time. But
Right.
this actually has to be done. This is a priority, and I have the flexibility to do so.
One more question. Is the cleaning a recommendation when the roof is in shape?
If the roof is in shape, like good shape.
Yes.
No, I mean if you can do that, like it's something you can do.
It would be more of a cosmetic at that point, right? Like kind
Correct.
of
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, so
Like
you're
not
saying
really
it's
doing
in good
anything for
shape, there's some
prevention.
stains. Yeah, if
Right.
that's the case, then yes. Yeah, you can definitely do that. It's not gonna it's not going to affect the life of the roof. It's supposed to revitalize. We're definitely making sure we're monitoring closely. If it's going to start making a downturn, like people are starting to realize that when they do it, the roof's not lasting 10 more years, it's lasting, 6 more months. That's what we want to make sure is that it is actually something that's going to work for sure.
Well, if there's moss on the roof also, if I'm showing a property and I see that, I know the red flags to look out for because the moss grows roots into the shingles, and it's definitely a red flag that will come up. So if it were me in that situation, I'd probably be like, hey, do you want to try and get someone to power wash that just in case it's not like so focused on, because some inspectors would be like, oh, this is the end. Or some inspector would be like, no, this is okay. We can handle this. There's always one extreme inspector to the next, which I'm sure we've dealt with some of them. So I would probably recommend them power washing or kind of removing the moss. But if they don't want to, they don't have to. But I'm kind of clear on like, hey, this might come up, just to be completely transparent with you. You can have this option or not. And then recommend them somebody. It's good to have like a recommendation because they already trust you kind of. So they'll trust the recommendation.
Okay. Someone asked, do you do algae cleanup from the roof? Or I think that's what we were just talking about a little bit.
Yeah, so that would be part of with the Overhead Care Club. When they're inspecting the roof, if there was like an area where it's like you can see one patch that keeps growing because there's a tree that kind of hangs real close, whatever the case may be, that would be something where our guy would just kind of brush that off and make sure that he cleans it up. And if you got that done once a year, it's really not going to deteriorate the life of the shingles as fast.
Okay. Sounds good. Anyone else have any more questions? I think this was a really, really good session. I've actually been excited about this session for the past month since I spoke to you guys and found your website and everything else like that, just because of the great services you guys offer, just all the benefits you have, all the incentives, just, you guys are like a top-notch kind of company that has everything, very, very geared towards your customers and geared towards agents as well. So we definitely appreciate, you doing both of those. Because, we know our customers are in good hands and we know that we're in good hands by working with you as well. So I do appreciate you guys coming on for another great spotlight session. And I will make sure I get the information from you to send out to all my agents so they can have all of that and be able to contact you guys as well. Anybody have any more questions before we jump off and go enjoy our weekends? Sounds great.
All right. Thanks a lot, Lawrence.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Thanks a lot. Thanks,
Have a great
everyone. You
weekend.
guys have a great weekend. Thanks for jumping on with us.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.